Well, hello, church, and welcome to the first Lenten Soup Supper workshop of our Lent 2023 season. I'm a bit sorry I am not here for the first one, but I also will say I am hopefully having a good time with my dad in Florida while we are meeting. So this first workshop is the first in our series of putting mission to words, where we are hoping to create a congregational mission statement so that way we can let the world know who we are and why we are. Today's workshop is focused around us thinking about that idea of why do we exist? What is the purpose for First Christian Church, Disciples of Christ in Missoula, Montana, to exist as a congregation? I mean, yes, we've been here 137 years. Yes, we worship Jesus. But what sets us apart? What makes us different from other churches in Missoula? I mean, all these different Christian churches all worship Jesus in their own different way. What makes FCC Missoula different? Why do we need to exist? And it is true, we do need to exist. Now, part of what we are going to be doing during this workshop is using some more secular methods to figure out ways in which we can, if you'll pardon my use of the word, we're going to figure out how we are going to market our brand of Christianity. Now, while I will say we are using some of these more secular methods, this actually does come from some ideas that were developed by ministers who began working on stewardship, who began working on nonprofit work, who have began trying to think about how to do evangelism in the modern world. See, one of the biggest issues that churches face today is that we have stuck with kind of our same way of doing things that we did in the 1960s. And yet the world in 2023 is not the same. And not even talking about like socio-political, any of that stuff. It is just that the way in which we operate as people has changed. One of the best examples I can give is in this book called Not Your Parents' Offering Plate. It's talking about stewardship and mission and whatnot, which hoping to expand on for some other groups to go in and read, is that it goes and talks about how churches who have not decided to change their strategy on doing things are often the churches that we hear about whose doors are closing. And this is not saying that they have to have a contemporary worship service with a rock band. No, the traditional worship service is fine. It is just about how they go about letting the world know who they are, why they are. I'll actually just give the example that I was thinking of, that I just love from this book, I would say. It goes and is talking about nonprofit fundraising, about how to ask donors to give money to support the mission of the nonprofit. And unlike other things, nonprofit sole focus is to transform lives. And more often than not in the world today, people are more inclined to give money to a different nonprofit than a religious organization. Even though churches make up around 30-ish%, which is the largest chunk of nonprofit giving in the United States. That is actually down over 50% from 20 years ago. And that is because people buy into why things are happening, what their contribution is going to do, how is the contribution going to change lives, what is the vision, what is the mission, what is the action being taken. So for our main focus for today, we are going to watch a video it's a TEDx video. If you've heard of TED Talks before, it's supposed to be some inspirational, creative ideas that are being shared with the community. This is a TEDx from Puget Sound in 2009 with Simon Sinek, and it's his Start With Why. So this video should autoplay into the next one, and afterwards I will have another video popping up with me talking to you again. But until then, I invite you to sit back, relax, and think about how these principles that he is introducing can be applied to the church, our church, in the world today.